Alright, so let's talk about this rather significant political tremor that's come from Shigeru Ishiba, a man who is not just any backbencher but a former prime minister and a persistent, respected voice within the Liberal Democratic Party. His recent comments, where he stated plainly that he didn't think it was right to dissolve the LDP Komeito coalition and that they only put a stop to it when things were going too far, are not just a casual observation. They're a direct and calculated critique of the party's current leadership and its strategic direction. To understand the full weight of what Ishiba is saying, we first have to appreciate just what the LDP Komeito coalition represents. This isn't just a casual partnership. It's a political marriage of convenience that has become the absolute bedrock of conservative governance in Japan for decades. The LDP brings its vast network of business and rural support, while Komeito, backed by the Soka Gakkai Buddhist organization, delivers an incredibly disciplined and reliable voting bloc in urban areas. This alliance is a machine. It guarantees a stable majority in most elections, and it has been the key to the LDP's near-permanent hold on power. Dissolving it isn't like changing a brand of coffee. It would be like a footballer deciding to play with only one boot. So when Ishiba says he doesn't think dissolving it was right, he's speaking from a place of deep political pragmatism. He's essentially asking, why would you willingly break the very engine of your electoral success? The suggestion that there was a serious move to do this points to a significant internal debate, one that was apparently proceeding to a point that Ishiba clearly saw as dangerous. His phrase, "they put a stop to it when things were going too far," paints a picture of a party leadership, presumably around Prime Minister Kishida, who were charging headlong towards a cliff edge, only slamming on the brakes at the very last moment. It implies a lack of foresight, a recklessness that Ishiba finds deeply troubling. Now, the why behind this push for dissolution is the real mystery here. Some political insiders speculate that there are factions within the LDP that view Komeito as an ideological millstone, a partner that forces them to moderate their more hawkish security policies or the constitutional revision ambitions. Komeito has traditionally had a more pacifist stance, rooted in its Buddhist principles, and this has sometimes acted as a brake on the LDP's desires to strengthen Japan's military posture. So for those hardliners, cutting Komeito loose might seem like a path to ideological purity. But Ishiba, ever the strategist, seems to be warning that this is a fantasy. In his view, pure ideology doesn't win elections, and without Komeito's numbers, the LDP's grip on power becomes far more tenuous, potentially opening the door for a united opposition. This is where Ishiba's comments transcend a simple policy disagreement and veer into the territory of a power struggle. Ishiba has long been a critic of the party's internal dynamics, what he often calls its top-down, faction-driven decision-making that stifles debate. By publicly calling out this near disaster with the coalition, he is doing two things. First, he is positioning himself as the voice of reason and stability against what he portrays as a flailing leadership. And second, he is appealing directly to the rank-and-file party members and the public, saying, "Look, I am the one safeguarding our party's future, while those in charge are gambling with it." This is a direct challenge to Prime Minister Kishida's authority. Kishida has been struggling with low approval ratings, and his image is one of a placid, consensus-driven manager rather than a bold leader. Ishiba's narrative, that under Kishida, the party almost committed an unforced error of monumental proportions, undermines that image of safe management. It suggests that behind the calm facade, there is turmoil and poor judgment. For Ishiba, who has repeatedly failed to win the party leadership, this is a way to keep his name and his critique at the forefront, reminding everyone that there is an alternative, more steady hand available. Ultimately, what we are witnessing here is a fundamental debate about the soul and survival of the LDP. Ishiba's intervention is a stark warning that taking the Komeito coalition for granted, or worse, discarding it, is a profound strategic blunder. He sees the coalition not as a shackle but as the very foundation that allows the LDP to govern and implement its agenda, even if it requires compromise. The fact that the leadership even entertained its dissolution tells him that the party is losing its political instincts. For the average voter, this might seem like insider baseball, but it matters immensely because the stability of Japanese government, its economic policies, and its foreign policy all hinge on this political machinery functioning. If the LDP begins to fracture over its core alliances, the entire political landscape of Japan could become a lot more volatile, and Ishiba is effectively sounding the alarm that this is a path they must not go down.